All right. Hey, everyone. I am back with Gino Herring. Hey, Gino.
Hey, how you doing?
Great. How are you today?
I am wonderful. It's sunny down in South Florida. You can't ask for more.
Nice. So it's sunny in Ohio today, too, Gino.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I'm partial.
Ohio is the new Florida. That's what I tell my mom all the time.
I gotta come
Um,
visit.
what's that?
I gotta come visit.
Yeah, it's nice here. So Gino's not only a real estate agent for like the last, what, 10, 15 years?
Yeah, actually about 18 years going on 20.
18, dang. But you also do wealth management, financial
Right,
services for,
right.
what's it called? Coastal Wealth.
Coastal Wealth, we're a Mass Mutual firm. Yep.
Nice. So you're like full service there,
Full service,
handling all
one-stop
the
shop.
money.
Yeah, I like to.
Well, we were talking, and I think we have a pretty interesting topic. So this is basically about like where is real estate going? Because before you either had small boutique brokerages
Mhm.
or you had kind of like bigger brokerages, and that was kind of it. But we're seeing like a third one emerge, which is
Yeah,
we agreed that was like a bigger brokerage, but you're an employee,
right.
basically.
Yeah, they're kind of reaching out to you and wanting you to take a certain area of the map, and they're going to pay you to be just involved in that area.
Yeah,
Kind of interesting concept.
it is interesting. So let's talk a little bit about the pros and cons. Like the way that I see it is we're basically squeezing the middle. So like the medium-sized brokerages they're going to have it's going to be tough for them to compete. So they'll either go small or be absorbed by one of the big ones. Do you think that's true too?
Yeah, I can see that happening just because the independence is kind of what the realtor is going to look at down the road as being a factor. They're either going to be tied to one sort of, I guess, calendar schedule and quota to
Mm-hmm.
reach,
Mm-hmm.
versus if you're independent by yourself on a smaller type firm, you work as hard as you'd like to. It could even be a second job or a third, 1099 for yourself. But if you're tied to one thing and you haven't been used to that, so to speak, throughout your career, it can
Right.
be a real big change for you.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess so if you're in like the small boutique, you're saying that that will allow for more like the small boutique pros and cons basically is like you're saying you think there's going to be more flexibility with those smaller ones. I
I
think
believe so.
you had mentioned before you thought it would be more like um coaching or learning or more tailored almost
Right.
too.
Right, more of a mentorship program. I believe they assign you some folks that are seasoned in the business, and they
Mhm.
know what to expect. They know the real estate, so to speak,
Mhm.
and you can really learn from that and grow from that, versus being thrown to the ocean, and learn to
Yeah.
swim on the way. It could be a benefit that way. I guess the downside of that would be, if you're doing other things and you're used to a certain way of doing things, also. Are you ready to be coached in a certain way? Are you going to have a difference of kind of I guess daily routines.
But don't
Um,
you think the smaller ones though will be more individualized though? Do you
yeah, I think definitely you're right about that. I just think that as far as real estate agents, your whole I guess your CRM development, your overall farming, everything that has to do with your private practice really is shaped by your own personality and culture. And I
right.
think other folks that are coaching may have a different approach. That may cause some friction.
That's true. That makes sense. I do think though, like the smaller boutiques, I think you're right. I think they will be more individualized. But yeah, you'll be getting coached by people that maybe aren't, but that's how it is anyway, right?
Right.
But
Yeah.
I think you would, as the agent, you would then be maybe paying for more of your stuff potentially. Or I think the biggest downside of it would be that you don't have as much bandwidth because you're smaller.
Correct. Yeah. And as
Yeah.
far as agents, you're kind of looking for your track. You want to kind of develop a target market, if you will, or
Yeah.
even a certain area to farm. And if you're new to the game, everything you're going to start doing is kind of be the way you're taught to learn.
Yeah.
You learn to say certain things when you're little, a certain language even. And then
Yeah.
as you grow, you can expand that, but you still stay in that track for the most part. I
Yeah,
think
and
that'd be
that's
the
like a
same with
matter
this.
of perspective too. It's like, who are you with? So if you're in the small
Absolutely.
boutique ones, those are probably small. So you're not really around a lot of people to help you grow. Like
Right.
it's just you're kind of small. So then we kind of agree there's like then another one, but they're both big.
Hmm.
So one big one is where you're the employee, And the other big one is where I view it as more of like a consultant, you know?
Right. Yeah, I think that a classroom analogy would come into play here. You get a class of 30, in a high school versus maybe you have a huge class of 300 in an auditorium in college.
Yeah,
And you
right.
sort of get into that classroom. You're like, oh my goodness, I've got to really pay attention. And
Yeah,
if they don't see me pay attention, I could sleep, so you can kind of fall off the wayside.
yeah.
Versus a smaller classroom, teacher's going to see you in the back room taking a nap. They're
No,
going to be
that
on
makes
you.
sense. I do love that analogy. So like the smaller brokerages are going to be more like the small classroom, where the bigger ones on either one, whether you're employee or not. But the thing about the employee one is you are, as an employee, I mean, I haven't been an employee for a long, long time.
Yeah.
But to your point, you're very stuck in what you like. These are the rules. This is how you play the game. This is what you do. And I think that while that sounds comforting if you are new, I think it doesn't sound comforting to me. It sounds awful. And
It's regimented.
it's too regimented, and I don't get any creativity in how I want to run my business. So it's not
Correct.
very entrepreneur either.
Correct. And so I guess what we're saying is it's only for certain folks
Yeah.
that don't have that real need for guidance would be in a different setting. If you kind of don't have that, I guess individual
If you don't want to be an
accountability.
entrepreneur, or like you don't want to own your own business necessarily, it's more of a
Yeah,
customer service job, it feels like to me.
right. And you're representing you're more of a representative of the company that you're working for. Even though
Exactly,
all of us
instead of
are,
yourself.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're kind of you're working for that company specifically. So
Yeah, no, I agree
your
with
hat
you.
will be, that the name of that company, regardless of where you are, instead of an individual agent like we are.
Right. No, that makes sense. And then you'll have like the other big companies that I think those agents, they're definitely going to be more entrepreneur. They're going to want
Hmm.
to run things how they run it. They're going to
Hmm.
still do a lot of deals. But I think that they also, what was I thinking about?
They're your seasoned travelers. They've been doing it for some time.
Yeah.
They're used to a regimen that they can withstand. It's going to centered around their own daily routine,
Yeah.
and that they've got family or they've got other responsibilities throughout the day. They don't have to have an adjustment to what someone is dictating. It's kind of
Yes.
on their own.
But I
So
think
they'll be
they
different.
also are going to have to know more. So
Yes.
where like agents now, there's a huge middle piece. I think that middle will go away. I think if you're in the middle, you'll either go to one of these boutiques, which is maybe your own brokerage and it's tiny and it's just you, or you're going to go into one of these two big ones, which is where you're an employee, which if that happens, those are customer service people. So maybe agents, like you said, that they don't really have the drive to make their own business. The ones that do, that go the other direction and they are adamant about making their business, I think they're going to have to know more. We're going to
Yeah.
have to know more about the bigger picture, like investing, like a lot more. Don't you think?
Absolutely. I think the bottom line, the root to all this is self accountability.
Mm-hmm.
If you've been used to a certain way of doing things, but you're also holding yourself accountable, meeting a quota on your own, setting goals and reaching those goals,
Yeah.
then you can do the bigger. If you're not used to that or haven't gotten that yet, or even established yourself as an agent in your area,
Yeah.
I would think that you would tend to go the other way more, more the
More like
employee
the
route.
employee type route.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
I agree with you. The problem with the employee type route is because now, if we look at how the public views real estate agents, right?
Hmm.
I mean, we all know the problem. The problem is like there's just the barrier to entry is low, the training is poor, like there's not
Hmm.
really, there's supposed to be a set of standards, blah, 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 but there's not really, right?
Not
Nobody
really.
ever really gets in trouble. It's the only cold call commission sales job you can keep if you don't sell anything, all this
That's right.
stuff, right? But it'll like drive the employee mentality will drive commission, seems like it will drive commissions lower and make that more of customer service, which is why I think on the other end, the people that are not that will have to up their game.
Absolutely. You're giving them a set level of performance.
You're giving them
You're
McDonald's.
yes. You're saying,
So it's
look,
like, do you want McDonald's, which is what they'll be, which is fine. McDonald's is good, quick, easy. You know what you're getting.
you know what you're
Or do
getting.
you want
Expectations.
like a culinary experience? You know what
Do
I
you
mean?
want to go to the buffet at the Caesars? And you have chefs that are trained around the world to come and give you the very best of what's offered.
Exactly. Which is interesting. So I wonder, like, are you a foodie also?
My dad was a chef,
Was
And
he?
it's kind of the reason why I'm as large as I am. I mean, he one day a long time ago, he introduced a plate of food. One was frog legs and one was chicken wings. I didn't know the difference. Both tasted the same. I loved them. But that's
Nice.
kind of the analogy that I want to give. You know, you don't know what you're getting into until you really start to experience that. So for the new
Yeah.
folks that are coming into the agencies, you want to, you know, kind of find your own way and figure out what's best for you. What
Hmm.
situation is going to be best for your lifestyle, your overall goals, how to achieve them. And then are you in looking for a mentor to teach you some things, or you just want to dive in because you've
Yep.
already got an established route?
Yeah,
So,
I think it actually the good that I'm seeing out of all of this when and if this happens, right? If we're
mm.
right, which I'm sure that we are.
We're the
No,
gurus.
but I think it's what I've been talking about. Like we need some type of like apprenticeship program for years for agents to go through because they don't know what they're doing. And even if
Yeah,
you have like good training at the brokerage, you still don't know because you don't
yeah,
know until you do it, right? No matter
that's
what.
true. That's true.
So like these employee type customer service people, it will actually be really good experience. So
Hmm.
I think we'll still probably see the same amount of agents getting out of the business, like 80 to
Hmm.
90% or whatever it is. But I think the ones that stay in will end up going to the other types of big brokerages or the smaller ones and making their own. They will be better.
I agree. I agree. I think the term would be applied learning. And
Oh,
I
thank
think
you.
that if no, it's just the way I kind of
Yeah.
approach it is, you know, if we're gonna be in a classroom and you just read to me or show me some things on the board, that's
Hmm.
great. But once I go away from that for 2 months, it's gonna disappear from my mind.
Exactly.
If you're showing me physically how to do things step by step process and making me do it, I'm gonna attach onto that process a whole lot more, and I'm gonna use it in my next steps.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I think it's really interesting. I wonder if other people see brokerages going in a different way,
Yeah,
or like
we're
what they think.
evolving, but yet not evolving.
Yeah,
You know.
exactly. It's really interesting what's happened. I mean, we've definitely needed the industry to shake up. We've
Mhm.
needed it for a long time, and
Yeah.
anytime you shake something, it'll be interesting to see what falls out.
Right. And it's I guess I think about forest fires when I hear that too, because it's said that certain fires, you know, are used to, you know, clear the land and
Yeah,
clear the things from they're not really thriving and then giving room for new growth. So
yeah.
maybe the shakeup is necessary and we'll
It,
see.
I mean, it must be because it's happening.
It's happening. It's happening not
Yeah,
just one part, it's all over the country. So it's
that's
everywhere.
awesome. So, Gino, if people have a referral for you in South Florida or they want to learn more well, tell us about the financial services stuff that you do.
Okay. I'm with Coastal Wealth. We're a MassMutual firm, and I am licensed here in the state of Florida.
Hmm.
And primarily, I work with a lot of 1099s and real estate agents,
Okay.
pretty much because, 1099s, I understand the pain points we go through. Sometimes
Yeah.
you go months without a commission, and, you know, you got to really learn how to budget, learn how to plan
That's
for the
why they need to
future.
be at EXP, Gino. No, I'm
Well, I
just
tell
kidding.
you what,
You
I
know I
tell you,
had to say something.
yeah, it's thrown a really good wrench in there, but it's a feel for the education of it all, and I think that's what I pretty much focus on, especially with realtors. And most importantly, there's a term we call mortgage protection, and
Okay.
we not only introduce that to folks who have their own homes, but also to real estate agents to use that in their armed repertoire of their book of business to
Oh,
say, look,
nice.
not only are you going to purchase a home, but I'm going to show you how to keep that home and how to really ensure that, you know, payments can be made should you have disabilities, should you lose your job permanently or temporarily, whichever it may be. There's all kinds of things we can do there. So I really deal with that a whole lot. And on the other side of that, we do have the financial planning for teachers and first-time buyers as well. So a lot
Cool.
of different
So
things
you
kind of
help
come together.
real estate agents with their financial planning
Yeah,
and you're helping their clients. So it's
absolutely.
really, yeah, you're definitely full service. I've noticed that a lot of real estate agents, and we should do another video on this. It's like,
Sure.
dude, where's your retirement plan? Like,
Exactly.
like, come
Exactly.
on.
Yeah. I actually call a lot of folks right now and they're showing homes and they can't talk to me, but I get an email back from them when they get back and they say, look, we got to talk about this because I just closed 3 houses last week and I got capital gains issues because I got sold some yesterday too. So
Exactly.
we're going to face some issues and it's April. So they
Yeah.
want to talk about that right now.
Good.
It's hot.
We'll do it. So they could be on the lookout for that video too. But if
Sure.
people do want to get a hold of you, what's the best way?
Well, my email address, I'm at United Realty Group, but the email address is gmh54 at comcast.net. I have two websites, theherringcollection.com and New Casa. That's new/casa.com. That's home new construction on New Casa, and you have your resale properties on theherringcollection.com.
Do you want to give your phone number too?
Sure, 561-299-0260. That's my cell phone directly.
We'll start pranking you. No, I'm just kidding.
Great, I'll take the pranks. That's a lead.
I know. Nice. Expect my newsletter. Yeah,
That's
you
right.
prank me.
It's all good.
That's awesome. Well, I really appreciate you being on again. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate this. This is great.
Have a great one.
You too. Take care.